Breaking news now on Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Breaking news from Manchester now. Just moments ago, we learned new details in a deadly shooting early this morning. A man is dead after what state officials are now calling a homicide case. Thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 10. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. We learned that information just about a half hour ago. Fox 61's Valerie Moravi joins us live from Manchester Police Headquarters with these brand new details for us. Valerie, what did you learn?
Yeah, that's right, guys. Well, there were a lot of questions regarding the death of 24-year-old Jordan Patterson of Windsor Locks after he was found inside of a running vehicle less than 2 miles from Manchester Police Department. But some of those questions have been answered after our team reached out to the chief medical examiner. Now, let me just give you some information on that. For what we know, officers found him in the driver's seat of the vehicle that was idling near Arvin and Woodland Streets just before 4 o'clock Tuesday morning. According to the office of the chief medical examiner, Patterson suffered multiple gunshot wounds to the torso. Police tried to resuscitate him, but they couldn't, and he was pronounced dead on the scene. Now, the chief medical examiner is now ruling Patterson's death as a homicide. Neighbors I spoke with tell me they didn't hear any gunshots this morning, but a woman I spoke with off camera tells me she was scared to even leave the house to take her son to school when she heard the news. Now, she tells me this is a friendly community where everyone knows each other and incidents like this just don't happen. Now, no arrests have been made at this moment, and this is an active investigation. But if you have any information regarding this incident, you're asked to contact Manchester Police. For now, live in Manchester, I'm Valerie Moravi, Fox 61.
Hi, Valerie, thank you. We have new developments tonight from North Branford. Police there have released new video and audio from a risk of injury case. A man faces charges accused of driving a dirt bike around town while holding an infant. And according to police, it didn't just happen once. Branford police say this is the first time they encountered Timothy Sherrick riding his dirt bike in Northford Park, and the bundle in his arms, they say, is a 9-month-old baby. When Officer Brandon Cosenza tried to stop Sherrick, this is what happened.
They fled into a wooded area on the dirt bike with the minor still on the bike. We identified the person through previous incidences, and we were able to identify him that way and submit an arrest warrant.
Cosenza says they tracked down Sherrick, confiscated his dirt bike, and charged him with reckless endangerment, criminal trespass, risk of injury to a minor, and interfering with an officer. Serious charges, but maybe not serious enough, because just a few weeks later.
With Branford 911, address your emergency.
Hi, there's two guys riding around at the North Branford Park on some little motorbikes.
Okay.
The North Branford Park. They have like a little child with them, like a baby, and they're just riding around.
I was just driving down Hillside View Road in Northford, and there's a guy with a baby on a motorcycle.
A motorcycle or a dirt bike?
It's a little motorcycle.
Police say Sherrick was back in the saddle with the same little passenger. Sherrick was once again arrested and his dirt bike taken away, but this second time he was only charged with risk of injury to a minor.
Due to the previous incident, we were able to quickly identify who it was based off of the description, and we responded to that person's residence.
That's not sitting well with people on social media who started calling for child protection agencies to get involved. One poster wrote on Facebook, quote, "Take the child away before there's a funeral." And police agree. Officer Cosenza says DCF was notified immediately about both incidents.
All cases that we handle will follow the correct protocol, contact DCF, and make sure that all agencies that need to be notified are aware of what's going on.
Court records show Sherrick has not yet entered a plea for the charges. He is scheduled to return to court next Tuesday. Well, new tonight, we are hearing from the mayor of Middletown after his announcement that he'll be resigning from his position next month.
Mayor Ben Florsheim penned a letter to the community today thanking everyone for the chance to work for and lead the city, and for the last 5.5 years. Mayor Florsheim has served Middletown since 2019. At the time he was elected, he was the youngest mayor ever in the city. The mayor will officially step down on June 16th. The Middletown Common Council president will become acting mayor.
In that letter released by Mayor Florsheim, he wrote the following, quote, "Doing this job has been the greatest honor of my life. As proud as I am of everything we have achieved during my time in office, that sense of accomplishment is exceeded only by the optimism I have for Middletown's future. There are a number of personal and professional reasons why I've come to the decision to move on. For now, I'll just say that the time has come for me to pursue a new career direction, one that will keep me in service to the community, but allow me more time and opportunity to focus on building the family and the future that I envision for myself here in Middletown. To put it another way, I'm not going anywhere, and I look forward to making myself of service to the community in the future."
New details tonight in a deadly shooting in New Haven. Police have made an arrest in the murder of 16-year-old Malik Sweets. Officers responded to reports of gunfire on Newhall Street in January of last year. They found Sweets on the sidewalk. He had been shot. He died at the hospital. After a months-long investigation, police have arrested 21-year-old Gabriel Frazier of Waterbury. He's charged with murder and illegally carrying a pistol. His bond is set at $2 million. City leaders and Sweets' family are expected to speak about the arrest tomorrow.
And new here at 10, Connecticut is saving big on transportation debt. Today, Treasurer Eric Russell announced the early payoff of another $176 million, and that brings the total to $570 million in debt eliminated ahead of schedule. And this is due to a 2024 legislative change that is expected to save taxpayers $726 million over the next 10 years. The strategy uses excess funds from the Special Transportation Fund to reduce long-term borrowing costs. Officials are now pushing to make this approach permanent, calling it a major fiscal win for the state.
Also new here at 10, Connecticut's clean energy sector is booming after contributing more than $7 billion to the state's economy in 2023. That's according to a new industry report. Nearly 46,000 workers across 4,500 companies are now part of the growing green workforce, with job growth outpacing the state average. Energy efficiency led the way, driving most of the employment gains. Officials say while the outlook's strong, challenges still remain in filling skilled labor roles and increasing diversity.
The motion on the floor is that the Hartford Board of Education grant Mr. Gerald Mike Fothergill an honorary diploma from the Hartford Public Schools. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Nays, better not be. Abstentions? All right, the ayes have it. The motion moves.
Well, Hartford man is finally getting his diploma more than a half a century after high school. The Board of Education voted tonight to award him with a long overdue high school diploma.
Yeah, the reason dates back to the late 1960s, at a time when civil rights were at the forefront, and the news of Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination struck the community hard. Fox 61's Kay Pattyfoot has the rest of the story.
It's been 57 years since Gerald Fothergill was a student at Hartford Public High School. When Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated in 1968, he, along with over 200 students, walked out of school the very next day. He says the following week, when he came to school, he and 7 other students were expelled, and he never received his diploma. Tuesday was a special day.
Motion that the Hartford Board of Education grant Mr. Gerald Mike Fothergill an honorary diploma from the Hartford Public Schools.
More than half a century in the making.
Motion on the floor is that the Hartford Board of Education grant Mr. Gerald Mike Fothergill an honorary diploma from the Hartford Public Schools. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. After 57 years, the Hartford Board of Education voted to give Gerald Fothergill an honorary diploma from Hartford Public High School. He says this has been a long time coming.
Really appreciate that so much. It talks of my people in our community, which is the board, but they recognize the achievements of people that have come through their school.
In 1968, Father Jill was expelled after he and hundreds of students walked out of school the day after Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated.
There was no planning. We weren't in communication with each other the night before or that morning. This was spontaneous. So when we walked, we got to Fountain Avenue, a police escort showed up and escorted us downtown to City Hall.
There was a lot of you guys.
Over 250 left, and various other ethnic groups left right with us.
While he's grateful for this diploma, he still has questions regarding his expulsion.
Now, if the entire school, most of the school walked, and then they released all the students, then why call us in and blame us for causing what they called a riot when it was a peaceful demonstration?
Do you think your race and your role with Black Panther at the time may have played a part?
It had a lot to do with it because they only isolated certain students. If this was a case of all of us being guilty, then everyone that walked out was guilty. And they should have, and this is, Weaver walked, Buckley walked, and Harper High Annex walked. Harper High was the only ones that persecuted few of their students, so we feel like it had to be personal.
The Board of Ed also voted to allow Father Jill to walk at graduation with the class of 2025. Hartford Public High School graduates at Trinity Health Stadium on June 12th. In Hartford, Kate Pattyfoot, Fox 61.
It's so great that he's finally getting that.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure all those years he could have gotten a GED, but it's really the diploma that matters.
Yeah,
you want the recognition.
And better late than never, I suppose, but it's hard to imagine why it took so long.
I know. That's the other thing, too.
Nearly 60 years ago.
I have a question, though. Is he going to celebrate with the class of 1968 or the class of 2025? Which high school reunion will you be attending? We need to know. Are you going to attend your high school reunion? I don't know. I don't go to mine. Rachel?